Welcome, comic book fans, and thanks for tuning in to Potbelly Gamers #Pullthis for Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017. I'm your host, Glenn Kremp, aka Leafs in 6, and this is my top choices for the comics released this week. First up this week, Marvel's Secret Empire #1. Alright, here we go, comic book fans. This is it. We know Captain America is now in charge of Hydra, and this now puts us at least a month, I almost think a couple, or at least a year ahead in the storyline, which makes this even a bigger event than it possibly could be. As the comic book opens up, we do see that the schools are now teaching Hydra's history. A lot of the heroes, like the champions, have moved underground and they're kind of hiding out from Hydra. We do have a lot of things going on in this book. Miss Marvel, who's still trapped in space trying to get out, still dealing with all the waves of enemies that she's trying to fight. We get really deeper into how Steve Rogers is now running the new Hydra United States of America, as he's dealing with what to do with sightings of superheroes and how his inner circle wants to deal with it and how he wants to keep the ideals of Hydra still alive in this. The story we get out of this is one of Captain America's friends. We have Rick Jones, who you know, who has been captive, and him getting some secret information out, stealing it off one of the Hydra's workers' phones, dealing with that. A lot of people in Hydra want him gone, and because he is Captain America's friend, Captain America is trying to decide, or I should say Steve Rogers is trying to decide on what to do with him. This issue is pretty graphic in a little bit of ways on what that deciding issue is, what to do with Rick Jones, and we see the outcome of that. Also in this issue is pretty much Tony Stark's AI reaction to getting the information of how to stop Steve Rogers as he goes through every time they've tried to stop Steve Rogers, the amount of human, or I should say just casualties, innocent bystander casualties there are because of this, makes him not even really want to know how to stop this Steve Rogers, which is a really interesting take. This Saturday, for Free Comic Book Day, there's also going to be giving another Secret Empire free comic book, and that actually is going to end up taking place between Secret Empire #0, which we reviewed last week, and this issue, Secret Empire #1. So again, get out on Saturday and pick up that Secret Empire free comic. Next up from DC Comics, Batman #22, which is the third part to the Button little mini-series 4-part event DC is doing. So as we last know from the other two events, Zoom came, touched the button, big fight ensued, got sent back to future, and then comes back and dies obviously in the Batcave. Now this has sent Flash and Batman on a journey themselves across time. Flash has gotten the cosmic treadmill, and he's kind of taken Bruce Wayne, Batman, on the ride. Now they've ended up in this issue in the Flashpoint universe. So one of the amazing things we get to see in this comic is Bruce Wayne confronts or comes face to face with his dad Thomas Wayne from the Flashpoint universe. This is pretty awesome, where it looks like Bruce Wayne in the beginning stage is a little skeptical of him, but they do share a story of their youth, which obviously only Batman or Bruce Wayne's dad would know, of when Bruce Wayne was a kid and fell into the cave, and Thomas Wayne tells him what he said to him and all that stuff. So we get to see Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne, both as Batman, taking on, as you do remember from the Flashpoint universe, we had the Atlanteans and the Themyscira army attacking each other. They did decide now they want to attack Thomas Wayne, so they come on, so both Batmans take them on themselves. It's also pretty good, and I think this issue is really going to be huge in time to come in the DC universe, is as Batman and Bruce Wayne and the Flash are about to leave the Flashpoint universe, Thomas Wayne does give a message to Bruce Wayne, which is stop being Batman. Enjoy your life and everything. It's a pretty huge revelation, which I think is still going to echo through Batman's future in these comics. A really important issue. I would highly recommend picking it up.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes? Yes, you in the back. Questions.
So, Thomas Wayne is all about killing, and Batman's not about killing.
Oh.
Does that somehow play a role in this comic book?
That's an actually great question from in the back. Yes, as the Atlanteans and the Themyscira guards are attacking, Thomas Wayne grabs his gun. Bruce Wayne takes a batarang, throws it at the gun, and kind of to symbolize, no, we're not going to do that, and they fight hand-to-hand combat style. That was a great question.
Does Batman cry at the end?
I almost think he does. Any more? No? Okay, thank you. And I'm sure, as we all know, your text messages, your Facebooks and Twitters are going to be filled with this tomorrow. Tomorrow is May the 4th, the unofficial Star Wars Day, where you're going to see May the 4th everywhere. And this week in our comics, we get a little tasting of the Star Wars comics as well. We get the second part from the Rogue One comic adaptation, which a little bit of the deleted scenes and dialogue have been added into this comic. So if you really like Rogue One and you liked some of that deleted scene stuff, grab these comics. You get to have some of that put back into the comic for you. Also this week, this is a pretty big book itself. Poe Dameron number 14. Now, when this comic was actually written by Charles Soule, we got the news that Carrie Fisher actually died. So when he was writing this comic, that is when the official announcement came out that Carrie Fisher had passed away. So the very beginning, Poe Dameron deals in his Black Squadron the death of one of his fighters. And there's a lot of eulogy and a funeral service with that. But as you can tell, with that funeral service, actually does have General Leia in it. This was written, if you read between the lines, kind of as his eulogy to Carrie Fisher himself. So I would highly recommend the Poe Dameron book this week, just for the fact that you kind of get a nice little send-off to Carrie Fisher from the writers of this book, which is really awesome. Also, because as you know, this is a huge week. Another big event. We have the Guardians Volume 2 movie being released on Friday, and Marvel didn't disappoint. Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 came out this week as well. With all the stuff that's going on, I'm sure as you know, in movies and stuff like that, you may see a movie, get excited about the character, then go to a comic book shop to grab the comic, only to find that what you see in the movie is not even in the comics. Well, this comic right here hits it on all fronts. We have what you see in the movie is what you're going to get in the comic. You have Baby Groot, Rocket, everybody all together. And it's really a really fun comic. Just starts off with the group on a little bit of a space heist for the Grand Master, trying to collect something again. They do get that successfully. And then he also decides that, hey, you know what? I want you guys to steal something else from me from the collector. And I got a little secret I'll tell you if you do that for me. Just all them getting together. Feels really good. Can't wait to see the movie. And I think this really complements the movie as well. Whoa! You know what that means. It's time for the quick hits. Alright, first up, Justice League number 20. Yes, this is the issue of the death of Jessica Cruz. And it's pretty impressive. Yes, this is the issue of the death of Jessica Cruz. And it's pretty impressive. Yes, this is the issue of the death of Jessica Cruz, and it's pretty impressive. And it does sound familiar because that is what happens in this comic constantly. It's like the Justice League Groundhog Day, where we go back and forth and Flash continuously goes back in time to witness the death of Jessica Cruz, and he constantly is trying to save it from this huge force. He gets everybody together, gets the whole Justice League to try to constantly save her, and no matter what they do, she constantly dies. We'll see where this goes because this is part 1. Really exciting. From Marvel, Black Bolt number 1. As we last seen in Humans Prime, Black Bolt did send his brother off to jail. Well, guess what? In the process of him being sent to jail, he switched bodies, and it's actually Black Bolt that's in jail. A really interesting comic, and as you know, Black Bolt can't speak, because if he speaks, the universe goes to garbage. So it's a pretty interesting thing where it's all his inner monologue kind of going in through the book until the very end where he decides he wants to get out of the jail and he speaks. Awesome comic, a really fun read. And last up, we got Nightwing number 20. This is a little bit of a psychological book, and the way that last time we see Nightwing, we were dealing with Dr. Hurt had Damian on the table. Well, between Deathwing, Nightwing, and Damian and everything going on, this is a really interesting book. You get to have a little bit more personality between Nightwing and Damian. Oh, spoiler alert, Nightwing saves Damian. But it is a pretty interesting book, and it was fun, and I really did enjoy it just the way it was written. And that's my pull list for this week. As always, please tune in to the Potbelly Gamers podcast, which is on the allgames.com radio network. We are live Friday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As I mentioned throughout this, it's a huge week. We're probably going to talk about Guardians. We're going to be talking about a little Star Wars because it's May the 4th. And we will probably be mentioning some of the stuff coming up on Free Comic Book Day at your local comic book shops. Tune in, All Games, Friday. Also, I want to thank washikong.com for their great support. You can check out their website for great apparel, toys, and much, much more. And as always, just want to mention, please get out to your local comic book shops and help support them, especially this Saturday with Free Comic Book Day. As much as you're going to get free comic books, also remember just to maybe buy a t-shirt or something from that shop. That really helps them a lot as well. And if you always can and you enjoy these videos, you can also click here to subscribe, or you can push here to like this, or something like that. But that really helps us out too. Thank you so much, and see you next week.